Hello and welcome to January's first crafting session for the virtual stamp camp. So I wasn't sure how busy I would be with virtual hostesses during celebration, but I'm so glad that I can just keep crafting and bring in some ideas and inspiration for you guys for the stamp camp projects. And I'm coming to you a little bit earlier than I have been today because we're having a special supper tonight with grandparents before my boys go back to college. So I thought, well, let's get this squeezed in so it doesn't get super late, and that way I have some time to supervise the boys in the kitchen. We're gonna have some waffles, and I think that'll be kind of fun too. So I'm just trying to get my Facebook to catch up on my iPad. Hello, Barb. Good to chat with you today. And so, yeah, so today I wanted to do something that could be, once again, Valentine's Days, and it also could be something that you could just send any time of the year and have that work out too for a fun idea. So let's see if this doesn't pop up here in a second. I think I'm just going to, whoops. I think I'm just gonna go with it and try and watch for your comments on my phone screen there, and that sometimes works pretty good for today's project too. Hello, Marie, good to see you joining. So, okay, I'm just gonna set my iPad aside because my internet doesn't want to connect with that, but that's okay. So, without further ado, I want to show you January Virtual Stamp Camp card number 1. So, it is, you would think, featuring the pampered and playful pets, all that fun suite, but I kind of want to show you how I kind of veered away from that. Hello, Julie. So if you are thinking, oh, you know what, I really don't have grandkids, I have grand dogs, this is the card for you if you want to send like a Valentine for that special pet lover in your life too. So let me get started and kind of show you where this is all coming from. Let's see, there we go. Let me adjust that and get to that down to here. So, okay, so once again, here's the card. And so basically, actually, I'm going to set the card aside. I want to show you in the annual catalog. So you'd be like, Belle, why aren't you doing something from Celebration, or why aren't you doing something from the new mini catalog? Well, to be honest, I kind of had this idea set aside and saved, and if I didn't make it today, I think I would have totally forgot, you know. And I don't know if you're like me, but you set aside projects for like, oh, I'll make that when it gets closer to Valentine's Day, and then you go, okay, Valentine's Day passed. So if you're in the annual catalog and flip to pages 40, 41, you can see all the fun Playful Pets Suite products there. And so I am not using the stamp set or the dies. I am just using the fun paper for today's fun card. So, but I wanted to point out where that was and how surprised I was the more I thought about putting this together that I wasn't using it. But if you do, I have this set out so that I would remember to show and comment on it. Hello, Lisa. Hi, Angie. Okay, so the Pampered Pets has some hearts in it, so that's something that would work too for Valentine's Day if you have this and want to incorporate it. And then another thing that I wanted to point out is if you look at the dies, so the dies cut out the fun cats and dogs in there, but when you look at the dies, the paw prints are actually heart-shaped upside down. So if you want to incorporate that somehow into your Valentine card, I was trying to think of a way to do it today, but do you ever have that? The more you try and make something work, the more it doesn't work. Okay, so here is the card that it's not backwards now because I have my camera turned around. Hello, Deb. Good to see you on here, and Julie too. So when you look here, guess who loves you? You go, that's not from the Pampered Pets either. So now I'm really pulling something on you. That is from the holiday catalog. And then you might say, Belle, why are you pulling out things from the holiday catalog? Because if you remembered, I highlighted and I made notes and I did all sorts of crazy stuff with my holiday catalog. And so the banner year is going to carry over to the annual catalog, which means it is still available now. So let's see, where is it on here? Guess Who Loves You? And I'm also going to pull out the little heart right here from that stamp set today. So that in the holiday catalog is on page 65, and there is the pricing information as well for that. So that's where I'm getting that from. So I'm just going to set that aside. So some of you might have purchased that already this fall when that catalog came out. So here's the whole set, and it was also paired as a bundle with this banner punch too. So I love providing kind of a reference for you, because sometimes this happens where you might go, oh, I want that, and then realize, I already had that. So so if I go back, then you'll not have to maybe purchase something new. All right. Okay, so for assembling today's card, this isn't a die from the Pampered Pets. This is from the annual catalog too, and it is the Dog Builder Punch. So you'll see the dog is facing to the left. The punch is facing towards the right. And if you ever come to one of my live in-person stamping sessions, it's because I always hold and you should too, your punches this way. So you can see I want to kind of center that in here. And I tell you what, actually kind of just fits to the edge there, and that's good. And I'm just going to have some of my cardstock sticking out at the edge. When I went to put my sample card together before I was getting ready for you guys, I was, of course, better do that run through. I'd never feel comfortable to make something just on the go with you guys. But when I did it, I cut out the square here with my stitch shapes first, and then I had to put that square in here. Well, then I was kind of lost, because now I have just a kind of a blind spot, and I'm not sure if my square was going one way or the other. And I tell you what, I centered that, I thought, pretty well, but I won't want to do it again, and especially in front of you guys. So so I thought, well, if I have that all punched out, actually we're not going to use the dog or that heart, so I can set that aside. So yeah, I thought if I do the punching first, then it makes it so much easier to pull out my cutting machine here and then just be able to center the dog right in that stitched shape square. So if you have the stitched shapes, I'm using the largest square out of that set. Whoops. And so I have this right here. And then when I pull that out of there carefully, then you can see that stitched edge all around the square, which is really fun. And the best part too is the punch punches out the dog with the heart right there next to it. So you don't have to do a second punch or line anything up, which is great. So I was surprised how fast and easy this card came together. So I'm using a card base of Real Red 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then the fun paper is so cute. So if you are familiar with things I've done, oops, I have all this fun paper that's in there, and then here's a bigger section because I kind of want to show you where this is coming from. All sorts of dog terminology on that paper, and there's equal time in this paper pack to the cat lovers too. So if you get it and go, you know what, I don't want just all dog things, that's okay. So I'm just going to take, I cut this 5 1/2 by 1 inch, and I'm just going to put that on some basic black cardstock, 5 1/2 by 1 1/4 inch, like so. Okay, and it looks like I have just a hair, probably wouldn't bother most people, but just a hair over sometimes bothers me, so I'm going to trim that down there before I put it on my card. So the Stampin' Seal is going to go on the back side of that basic black, and then that can just be put right on here as well. So I'm just going to leave a little red edge, and then, whoops, it's up a little high. So I'm just going to move that down there, so then it fits on the card perfectly. And I've always loved black and red together, and just makes that white wording really pop. So super simple start to the card. And then for the next layer, I have that fun DSP. This was cut 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, because this is a square. I'm going to keep going with a square, and then I'm going to mat that on some basic black cardstock, 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I'm just going to take my seal and run that across as well. And this is, yeah, one of those dilemmas of, do I cut up the cute dogs on the back side, or do I get to play with the fun little paw prints with the hearts on it? So yeah, the hearts were really fun to pull out for Valentine's. Like I said, I was kind of glad that I remembered to do that before Valentine's was over, because I was kind of saving it for this occasion. Okay, so I'm going to put this on my card like so here. I want to make sure that it's up far enough so I have enough space for my sentiment on the bottom. And then to give this cutout die cut with the dog builder punch, to give it a little bit of a lift, I'm going to put some dimensionals back behind there. Hello, Faith. Thanks for joining in today. Okay, so I'm gonna see, sometimes my dimensionals fit, and I'm not sure, like the last thing I want is dimensionals hanging off the edge. Hey, that worked. I had out my mini dimensionals just in case it wasn't going to work that way. And then I'm just going to put, whoops, not 3. Just wanted to grab 1 extra here and have that for a little bit of support on there. So there we go. And then I can take these off. Hello, Joan. Wasn't sure if people would be checking in at 5, because I've been on so consistently, which is not my normal thing to be consistent. I wish I was. So I'm glad to see some people catching me now a little bit earlier today, but there's always the replay too, which is good. Okay, so this I'm going to center right in the square like so. So through the dog, you can still see all that fun paper. So I love that. And that just kind of has that silhouette look there. And this is where I'm going to pull out the banner set stamp set here. Whoops. So I have my Memento black ink pad here. And I just have a couple of the images, like I said. So, the Guess Who Loves You, I think, is just so fun, from the Banner Year stamp set. And if you're just joining in, Banner Year I pulled from the holiday catalog because it is carrying over and still available. Okay, so I'm just going to put that there. When I have my whole card assembled, I want to make sure I've got a good impression of ink, because the last thing I want to do is mess up on that sentiment when I've already had the card basically put together. Okay, and then, like I said, there's that little tiny heart that's in there too. So I'm just going to put 1 heart over here, and then 2 hearts on this side to kind of, let's see, offset that like so. And then sometimes it's just the little details. This heart, oh yeah, the camera will pick that up, has just like a little kind of like shiny spot, or, you know, lack of ink to make it look a little special too. So Faith is like, that's so cute, and I'll have to buy that too. So, well, this is kind of funny because you guys know me, and it's like not always about buying things. It's about giving you guys inspiration. And I was hoping today I might give you guys inspiration with things that you already own. And so with that, I thought, you know, a lot of people purchased this whole suite of products, or the fun paper, the stamp set, or the dies, you know, some kind of combination. And so I just thought, well, if I pull that out, then people won't think like, oh, now I have to buy something else. And you guys have been really so generous at placing orders, and with it being celebration and such. So I thought, well, let's, you know, step back today. And then for this, usually my next step I talk about is how I can add an accessory to it. But I just thought, you know, I played around with those new resin hearts, and they were just kind of too tiny. Even though some of these things are smaller images, it just didn't fit. Thought about even putting one in there, had it in there, took it off, and I just thought, you know what, sometimes a card just needs to be just like this. And so I'm leaving this one today, which is unusual, but I did want to just take the inside and just follow through with the hearts that I had on the outside next to the sentiment. And I thought, well, that's easy to do. I thought about doing red, but if you're making this card, sometimes just not having another color to mess it up and such is okay too. So those are the hearts that I'm putting on the inside there for just a quick thing. And since this is a stamp camp card for January, for those of you that have requested my January stamp camp cards, I'm leaving the inside blank. You know, I'm putting the 3 hearts in there, but as far as sentiment, I'm leaving it blank so that you could use this for Valentine's Day. If you had an August birthday for somebody and wanted to say, guess who loves you? You know, you could put, I do, happy birthday, and nobody would go like, why is she sending me a Valentine card too? But like I said, it obviously could be a Valentine card if you wanted to send that out for somebody in February too. So that is my inspiration for you for today. So I have, as I craft, I try and leave, and I don't do a good job, but I try and leave out my January stamp camp code so that if you are placing an order, and I do that with my virtual hostesses. So I had one the last 3 days, Sue Bay, that I had her information up, and I try and do it for every single hostess that I have. So you can see that. But then I will post this card still shot with all the supplies that I use to make it. And then I will put the associated stamp camp host code with that too. Hi, Kelly. Thank you. Okay, let's get this turned around. So, yeah, it just seems kind of like forever since I did a stamp camp thing, but it hasn't been that long. And, you know, it just seems like I've also done a million cards for stamp camps in the past year or so. Okay, so if you are new and joining this page, which some of you are, how my virtual stamp camp works is if you place an order the month of January using the host code, or even if you aren't comfortable and you want me to place that order for you, just say, hey, I want the stamp camp cards, please use that code, and then you'll get the 10 stamp camp cards for free if your order is $75 or more. And if you just want the cards, that's fine. Just say, hey, I really want the set of 10 cards. So today was only card number 1. So you might go, you know what? That's nothing like thrilling to me yet. So, but if you do want the set of 10 cards, then they're $22. And then as soon as they're ready, then I get those sent out to you too. So just keep in mind this month will be very heavy on Valentine/love, which I've always in the past in the month of January tried to do a lot of heart things and such, but people have always been pleased that they aren't all Valentines. Some will be specific to Valentines, but like today's card, I want it to be something that could be either or and very versatile and very useful in your supply of cards that you keep on hand. So just keep that in mind too, that I'm always trying to find other ways that all of my cards can be used so that they're useful for you too. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll be back again tomorrow with card number 2 for January stamp camp. Take care.